The skincare industry has convinced us that we need 10-step routines: retinol for wrinkles, salicylic acid for acne, vitamin C for brightness. But there is a darker side to using so many products or active ingredients on your skin, and that is barrier collapse. At the Asian Skin Research Institute, we are moving away from this sort of cocktail approach, but rather towards a deeper, more holistic method that understands how skin cells communicate with one another through the process of cell signaling. And today, I'm going to share more about the research protocols that I have been developing in our labs in Seoul and in Guangdong. The basis of this is the use of ethnobotanicals or plant ingredients, as well as modern peptide molecules as the essential architecture of our skincare protocols. Let's start with the foundation. The industry tells you that you must exfoliate your skin for glow, but here I am telling you what you really must do is to feed skin. So in our research, we are essentially focusing on a very specific combination, which is the use of Bifida Ferment Lysate combined with hexapeptides. So why Bifida? So you have heard of the microbiome, and you also know that applying live bacteria on your skin is generally unstable. It's not what people do. So Bifida Ferment Lysate is essentially a post-biotic fragment. When it touches your skin, it acts as a sentinel, which means that it signals your skin's immune system to repair itself, increasing barrier resistance without inflammation. So we combine this with acetyl hexapeptide 8 and hexapeptide 9. So, years of harsh cleanses, daily acids, and the high-strength retinols are what we're so used to, and it's essentially what has created what I will call the Sterile Skin Syndrome, whereby you essentially have stripped away all the oil, all the good and bad bacteria. So you've also stripped away the soldiers, which are the host of microorganisms that are functioning to form the healthy skin microbiome. In the last 5 years, dermatology has been undergoing some changes in terms of research, whereby we used to think bacteria were bad. We now are convinced that the skin microbiome is, in fact, the primary architect of our immune system. And if your skin microbiome is compromised, your collagen will also be affected. So on the other hand, if you have a diverse, healthy microbiome, your skin can be considered resilient. So beginning with Bifida Ferment Lysate, this is a postbiotic, a fragmented DNA repair enzyme that's derived from Bifidobacterium, which forms the cornerstone of our protocols. Let's look at the research. A study showed that applying Bifida Lysate actually increases the skin's resistance to physical and chemical aggression. It reduces sensitivity and effectively can be thought of as training your skin cells to get into a state of self-repair, to expedite wound healing. But the most compelling data really is on how it addresses UV damage. Now, research shows that Bifida Ferment Lysate can actually help repair DNA damage that's caused by UV radiation. Now, think about that. Most anti-aging creams are actually surface level, whereas Bifida is working at the nucleotide level, helping the cell fix its genetic code after sun exposure, for instance. So all these we bore in mind when we formulated the protocol, going beyond the needs of basic hydration to something which is smarter, that empowers your actual skin cells to survey skin damage, environmental damage, and then to kickstart the process of cellular repair. Now, this is a significant research anchor where we marry both the neurogenic aspects of skin, neurogenic inflammation, as well as the microbiome in a single holistic approach. In a study done in 2010 and published in the journal Experimental Dermatology, we defined the Stinging Skin Phenotype, which is the focus on reactive skin, referring to the invisible discomfort of stinging, itching, and burning, which is distinct from most dermatological conditions whereby we're focusing on visible skin disease such as having rashes or scaly skin. So this study, for one, validated the fact that skin sensitivity is a neurological event that's triggered by barrier failure. So literally, it proves the point that if you feel heat in your skin, your nerves are actually signaling before your eyes see visible redness. Now, the researchers in this study used sodium lauryl sulfate to induce stress, and this group was treated with Bifida Ferment Lysate. And this was a particular group that showed a marked decrease in skin sensitivity. Now, the logic behind this was that the Bifida bacterium actually acts as a biological shield, which decreases the perception of the extrinsic aggressors on skin. In this case was SLS. So in this case, we are really trying to manipulate the barrier intelligence. So we're going beyond just surface level hydration or building the wall with ceramide dominant moisturizers to really manipulating the neurogenic aspects of what's going on for reactive skin types. Now, the researchers also physically disrupted the skin barrier using methods such as tape stripping, and thereafter also measured transepidermal water loss, and the result was that they found that the BL-treated skin recovered barrier function significantly faster than control groups, and essentially we really see that you can optimize the speed at which skin cells can help to repair the barrier function of skin in the right environment. So by manipulating skin microenvironments with the application of topicals, and in this study was the use of BL extract, we find that there is reduced skin reactivity and sensitivity. There was also the lactic acid test, whereby the skin of the participants was challenged with lactic acid, and those that were pre-treated with lysate actually showed reduced vasodilation, which is the expansion of blood vessels that causes increased redness and heat, which actually proves that microbiome intervention can actually physically cool down the skin, and validates the Eastern approach to the thermoregulatory properties of certain types of skincare ingredients or plant ingredients. Now, finally, the conclusion of the study also inferred that the Bifidobacterium longum lysate actually helps to modulate sensory perception of skin, which is at the core of our protocol. By silencing the noise of neurogenic inflammation, we also can help to prevent the skin from overreacting to external triggers, and that is a critical point to assess in terms of this chronic inflammation that leads to inflammaging. If you're still caught in a cycle of constantly stripping your skin with acids and using high percentage actives and wondering why it remains red, reactive, and still looking fatigued or dull, it's time to relook the situation. Your skin is not a surface that can just be sanded down with layers of sandpaper. It's a sensory organ that needs to be treated holistically, much like every other organ of your body. The research we've examined today, specifically the work on Bifidobacterium longum, proves that when we fortify and enrich the microbiome, the skin actually starts activating its intelligence, stops fighting with environmental aggressors, and instead starts rebuilding itself. And this is the ultimate goal and the science behind the fermentation facelift. Beyond just a temporary glow, it's about causing a deeper, permanent shift in your skin barrier intelligence. Now, as we finalize all these latest research from our labs in Seoul and Guangdong, remember the most powerful thing you can give your skin isn't a stronger asset, it's a clearer signal. I'm Dr. Teo Wan Lin, board-certified dermatologist and host of Dermatologist Talks, Science of Beauty. You can find the clinical abstracts and a few research citations for today's episode in our Skin Syllabus at www.twskin.com.